Field goal in NFL history, the longest field goal in football history, 68-yard attempt.
Got it up. And short. Agnew brings it out of the end zone. Agnew still running. Agnew got the touchdown. Agnew! Touchdown, Jacksonville! 109 yards.
I think that was one of the dumbest field goals in history. And yes, I know it's Matt Prater doing it. And yes, I know that realistically, Matt Prater is one of the best kickers in football. I get that. Matt Prater is on the same level as Justin Tucker. He's probably better than both Drake Elliott and Brandon Aubrey. And for everyone saying that Brandon Aubrey went undefeated in his first 35 kicks, his career long is only 60. Elliott is 61. Harrison Butker, 62. Graham Gano, 63. And then you have Prater, 64, and Justin Tucker, 66. But this was a 68-yard attempt field goal. And this is why, and there's a few reasons why I think that this decision to kick the field goal was absolutely idiotic. And I know the Cardinals won the game. I know that the Cardinals won the game in the end. But, realistically, there was no need for that to be kicked. Absolutely no need. And this video is going to kind of, explain why it was such a bad idea. We'll be going in depth. We'll be looking at other really long kicks. We'll be looking at Prater's own 64-yard. We'll be looking at the Justin Tucker 66-yarder that he made later on that day. We'll be looking at when Tucker missed from 67, because it also happened. And there's two things I think make this a dumb decision. First of all, it was at the end of a half. Now, obviously, the end of a half is better than most points during a game, because you don't have to worry about the aspect of, is this kick going to miss, and therefore the other team takes the ball to spot the kick. Because let's say that you are foolish enough to attempt, say, a 63-yard field goal in regulation. If you're on fourth down and you're at your opponent's 45-yard line, and it's not the end of a half, or more importantly, the end of a game, it's really foolish to attempt a field goal. There's a reason why Brandon Aubrey's 60-yarder in the first quarter is so rare. Because at that point, you're placing the ball at the 50-yard line. If you make the kick, you get 3 points, and you get to kick it off prior for a touchback, and the opponent starts on their own 25. I was cheering for Aubrey to miss, and I was really hoping he would, because I knew that not only would the Cowboys not get 3 points to say one-possession game, the Eagles get the ball at midfield and be realistically only a first down away from themselves being in field goal range. But he made the kick. But again, you usually aren't going to trust your kicker from 60 yards, especially in that situation, because again, they get the ball at midfield, and that's what you got to worry about. The probabilities get lower, and the risks get more astronomical. Obviously, at the end of it, time expired. So this misses, and again, the spot of the kick is going to be at the 58-yard line. 58-yard line is the spot of the kick. But, you still have to worry about it going short. And this is what happened. Basically, you had first and 10 at the 50-yard line, and in that spot, what you should do is, even if you have Matt Prater, attempt a Hail Mary. You really should be attempting a Hail Mary in that spot. And the reason why you want to attempt a Hail Mary in that spot is because, number one, it gets you more points. You can get 7 points instead of just 3 points. Number two, I'm not saying Kyler Murray can reach the end zone, but we have all seen the Hail Murray before. That miracle play against Buffalo, which I believe was a 43-yard Hail Mary. He could probably reach the end zone from 50. And again, if a kick is short, it can be returned for a touchdown. Now if it's wide left or wide right, but if it's short, it can be returned for a touchdown. And it was 109 yards. I mean, the Jaguars are were absolute idiots during this time. This is when the Cardinals were competent and the Jaguars were incompetent. This is actually when the Cardinals were a good football team, and when the Jaguars were a bad football team. And that was that. But still, like I don't understand what the logic behind this was. Because, first of all, you have the Hail Mary. Like, literally in the previous season. When you have the 43-yard touchdown. And we can look at the recap of this game. Buffalo Bills at Arizona Cardinals. And, what I want you to notice is that they got to the Buffalo 43-yard line, and then they attempted Hail Mary, and it worked. Now, in that case, they couldn't rely on the kicker, because a field goal is only worth 3 points. So in that case, you got to get a touchdown, and it did. It worked. It worked to perfection. So that's what I'm saying. You could probably trust Kyler Murray to reach the end zone for 50 yards, because most people can. And obviously, yes, I am very aware of the Hail Mary from the Jets game, where I want to look at where it was, because I can't remember whose 49-yard line it was. So I want to look at that. But right here. So basically, Tua actually got picked off in this when he was running, trying to score, and he was intercepted at Jets 49. Okay, so this is a Jets 49-yard line. So not the opponent's 49-yard line. And the reason why it was pick six was because he couldn't reach the end zone. And I get that. And first of all, this is at the Miami 1-yard line. So it's realistic to assume that had Boyle been 1 yard closer, maybe it wouldn't have become a pick six. Or maybe if he was 2 yards closer. But I know I'm nitpicking at this point. But also, Tim Boyle is one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL, and I can't believe that the Jets actually thought starting him was a good idea over starting Zach Wilson. I don't get how you think that. And I don't like the Jets. I do not like the Jets. But I was like, I almost, even though the Jets beat the Eagles, I almost in a way pity them. So, it's not like, it's not like one of those things. But also, again, you could probably reach the end zone from there. And obviously, I could go on and on about this. About all this. But I know I'm starting to lose you. So here's the thing about Prater. Prater probably is one of the best kickers in the NFL. He's been in a Pro Bowl twice. He has an 83.4% career field goal. He has a touchdown? How? He has 64 field goals. And I want to see how the hell he got his touchdown. And obviously, he has a lot of records. Prater has a lot of records as a kicker. He's one of the best in the league. He had the longest kick this year from 62 yards against the Cowboys. But just because he can hit from 64 does not mean he can hit from 68. And now I want to show you Justin Tucker's 66-yard field goal. Because listen, I'm going to break down his kick. And this is about as far as any field goal can go. This is realistic.
Planning to move? Join the 6 million families who discovered a smarter, more flexible way to move with Pods.
And now of course, I mean a 66-yard kick because the Lions losing in heartbreaking fashion. It literally happened in a 2023 NFC Championship game. They lost in heartbreaking fashion, many times in the past. It's the Lions. They're going to lose in heartbreaking fashion. And, of course, the 2023 NFC Championship game against the Niners is just the most recent example of this. But it's not going to be a 66-yard field goal.
With 3 seconds
to play. And Prater too. But I want to put this in slow.
49 straight field goals.
This is the guy you want, Greg. If you're in this situation, I can't think of a better option.
This is for an NFL record 66 yards.
And yeah, I know the audio's very quiet. I actually want to slow down even more because I want you to notice something. So I'm going to put it on 0.5 speed. So look, so he's backed up. He's backed up. You can see the ball's being placed at the 44-yard line of the Ravens. You could see he's backed up at the 40-yard line. So you could be about 4 yards back. You really can't be that much farther. And this is about as far as you can get a kick without it being a fair catch. Even a fair catch kick I don't think would work. But, this is definitely the farthest you can get because they want you to look at something. So you can see he's running up. He makes contact with the kick. Again, usually these kicks can get blocked, but they didn't have enough blockers there because you got to kick it at a lower angle. They say kick it about 40 degrees. I saw a video that said this is probably kicked about 29 degrees, but you got to kick it at a lower angle because if it goes too high, it's gonna miss short. But then you also have to deal with the blockers who are lined up 8 yards off of you and they're gonna be rushing towards you when you make the kick. So these 70-yard kicks that are attempted usually get blocked. And then, of course, you have the ball, which makes it, and listen, it made it by the bare minimum. Did you not see it drink off the crossbar?
And it's good! Oh my goodness!
Because listen. 66-yard field goal that bounced off of the crossbar, and then it was good. Because look, there's a game in the Jaguars where after, a bad kickoff by Jacksonville, they took the lead. There was a bad kickoff, and the Ravens were able to get to the Jaguars' 49-yard line. But they
Fit a bachelor's degree program online into your schedule. Find your purpose. Visit gcu.edu.
Because here's the thing. That was a 67-yard field goal that missed. Tucker's made from 66. But it hit the crossbar. Any further back, it doesn't go through. Any further back, and it doesn't go through. And listen, maybe in Denver, that kick goes through. Maybe in Denver, where you have high elevation. But I don't know, because then you can have wind mess up the kick too. But again, Tucker made 66-yard barely. He missed from 67. You can have a perfect kick, but there's a limit to how much a person can kick. And it realistically is, like, in that 66-ish yard range. You can only kick so far. You can only kick so far. And that was the end of the game, too. Again, like, I don't think at the end of a half, Tucker's attempting either of those kicks. At the end of the game, when you're trailing by 3 or less points, a field goal can be a very fair option because, if the kicker has a chance of making it, it's usually better than a Hail Mary attempt. But, you don't want to do it at the end of a half. Because that was the end of the game. Like, I'm not saying I agree with it, but at least then it makes sense. You have a very good kicker who probably can hit him, I shouldn't say probably can, who might be able to hit from 68 yards. Who might be able to hit from 68 yards. At the end of the half, like, I guess it's the only option besides a Hail Mary, which from midfield can be very tough. But at the end of a half, when it can be returned, I mean, the Jaguars could have won the game because of it. That's what I think that people don't understand about this. And that's what you got to understand about these kicks. These kicks that they go through, when they're from this long of a distance, that was weird. They barely go through. Barely. Because let's look at Prater's 64-yard field goal anyway. And let's look at Prater's 68-yard field goal anyway.
We're anesthesiologists, surgeons, emergency medicine physicians.
See Jason Elam, a former Bronco, and now for the all-time mark from 64, Matt Prater's kick is gone. Matt Prater's kick is gone.
I mean, it made it through by a little bit. It didn't bounce off the crossbar, but it wasn't that good. Again, 68 yards is a lot for a kicker. I just don't think they could do it. And that's why I think it was a dumb decision.